I remember my father taking me to the far left side of the warehouse, all the way to the back against the wall, to browse the clearance section of the shoe store off of the interstate. And like any kid in the neighborhood, I'd run the soles off my feet. And when my mother finally noticed the holes, she wouldn't let me play until we went shopping. After having my size measured, the hunt began for anything remotely cool looking, under $20. Now with a family of my own, I spend at least 3 times as much on sneakers for myself. I mean, sure, my feet have gotten bigger, and there's inflation, but those are just casual wear. I need work shoes, which run 3 figures. Hiking boots for vacation, rainy season, slippers for the patio, dress for formal events, and flip-flops for the beach. Oh, and the kids. Well, they do half the running I do and go through twice as many shoes. And plus, there's my wife, Linda, is the shining light of my life and perfectly normal. Sorry. I mean, amazing in every way, and it's not an addiction, so stop calling it one. That's why it's so important to find a decent pair of shoes these days, and why I get so frustrated when the styles change or the brand discontinues the line. Hiking boots don't change that much, thankfully, not for a family of 4 vacationing once a year up north. The littlest one doesn't need any, really, not when he's being carried most of the time, but whines his way into a pair of his own because his older sister has some and I have to be fair. Sorry, I'm getting a little off topic. You're not here to listen to me vent about the shoe industry, but I could, if you like. No? Okay, well, you're here for something else entirely. It did happen on our hike, though, so I was getting to the point in my own roundabout way. Obviously, we took all the proper precautions. We set out before midday with plenty of food and water, multiple copies of the trail map, compass Linda swore we wouldn't need, whistles, which I might add are a terrible emergency device given to children, flashlights, diapers, and more than enough time to complete the shortest, easiest, most boring hike available 3 times before Din-Din. Of course, something would go wrong. Do you have kids? By the time my ears could no longer tell the difference between Susie's new favorite toy and my old age, giving me tinnitus, I'm not even 40 yet, legally speaking, we'd hardly gotten beyond spitting distance of the parking lot and broke for lunch. Yes, Linda, I know that's where the park benches are. Good thing we didn't pack enough protein-rich finger foods with a low spoiling chance and easy cleanup so we could eat in nature or anything. I exchanged any number of garden-variety suburban white guy head nods to other couples that we encountered after finally venturing forth into the open wilderness. There was a very nice black couple that we ran across as well, who also partook in said head nod. I didn't mean to be racist about it. Linda, it's a colloquialism. You know that. Yes, I remember what your father said last Thanksgiving. No, I don't agree with him. Well, yes, about the racism. The turkey was a little overcooked, though. Fortunately, the peanut butter gummed up the kids' mouths enough to put the whistle blowing on hold as we trekked alongside a stream and took turns looking through the one pair of binoculars that we brought along, trying to spot a deer or a rabbit or maybe just a falling leaf. I'm not saying you need glasses, Linda. I'm just saying our insurance practically gives us each a pair for free every year because I've run out of fun facts about ladybugs. We'd gotten to the 3rd or 4th green marker, and really, of all the colors, they made green easy for a hiking trail out in nature when Susie perked up. She didn't quite get her sentence out altogether before handing me the compass that I'd forgotten I'd given her. I knelt down to her level like any good role model, and I told her that she needed to lay it flat on her hand for the needle to point north. I placed it on her palm, which I steadied, and suddenly her whining made a bit of adult sense. The needle was spinning out of control. I placed it against my watch, then my phone, hoping for some magnetic thing to reset it. No, Linda, I don't know if that will work, but for the price, you'd think that they might as well throw some in, you know? Sadly, the compass continued to rotate at random. During my perfectly healthy, even-tempered, well-reasoned, and mature mid-hike discussion at an average volume level with my wife over whether or not I spent enough money to get a real compass or not, Susie had blown her whistle again. It would have been completely ordinary to hear it were it not for the absolute silence the forest echoed in response. I did my research. The forest only grows that quiet when there was a predator nearby. That and really we should have still been able to hear the highway. Yeah, Linda, even this far in. My darling Sugar Plum continued to blow on her plastic devil's tool until I took it from her, promising I only wanted to make sure that she hadn't used up all of her daily whistles yet. I popped it into my jacket pocket and grasped her hand to lead her back onto the trail, stopping when she pulled back. Shoes, Daddy, she urged. Yes, honey, I love your shoes. I remember buying them with you. No, Daddy, there, look! I looked out towards the direction in which her tiny arm pointed, preparing to spot a pair of old sneakers left by a lazy hiker, or worse. I didn't want to have to try and explain littering again, especially if I'd have to go off the trail to pick up some dirty shoes. I needed no explanation, however, as there was none to give. For my daughter had spotted, just beyond the tree line, a heap of shoes. A dozen pair, easily, of varying shapes and sizes. Curiosity got the better of me, and I told Susie to go find her mother so we could check it out. Naturally, she ignored the suggestion and tagged along. Yes, Linda, I know. She's Daddy's little girl. Thank heavens for that. Getting closer revealed even more boots. There had been hundreds of them, all piled up along a surprisingly steep gap in the earth. My mind went to some kind of sinkhole or ancient stream running through the ground, but nothing could explain the sheer number of shoes. My dad reflexes kicked in, just barely catching Susie before she leaned over too far and fell in. I didn't want to know how deep this thing went, or if she'd fall through the shoes like some awful foot-scented quicksand. I returned to my wife and made sure Susie held her hand while I went out and got the map. The compass still pointed every which way. We had plenty of daylight left. From what I could tell, we hadn't gone off trail, and even if we had, we'd have run into some sort of crossroads by now. I tried to put it out of my mind, making a note to report it once we'd returned. Yes, Linda, to the authorities. No, I'm not calling 911 about some shoes. We got back to the trail and kept going. I gave Susie the compass and gave her the ever-important job of letting me know if it stopped spinning. Keeping her busy would keep her from exploring too far again, even if she weaseled her way out of my wife's strong, independent hand. I read the... Yes. Linda, I know how to read a map. We've been over this. Oh, I would love to ask for directions. Yes. Hello, Mr. Squirrel? Can you point us towards the nearest public restroom? What's that? Oh, you pee on trees? Oh, well, I sure hope you wash your hands. Linda didn't think that was all that funny, but I got a good giggle out of the kids. The following hours were a parent's worst nightmare, or any hiker's worst nightmares. But trust me, it's probably worse with kids. I mean, most things are. We stayed on the trail, heading the single direction available, never coming across any other paths or signs or markers. Yes, Linda, I know we're on the green trail. Oh, you're right, that would blend in with the leaves. I should have realized that earlier. I started to worry when the sky started turning purple. I knew that we'd been out far too long on such a short trail to be lost. Worst yet, we'd come across the crevice of clogs again. Everyone was whining at that point. Long before that point, really. I'd kept as level ahead as I could. The forest had gone silent again, and for some reason my thoughts went to a strange place for a split second. Creatures in the woods go quiet around predators, and the only thing standing out was the pile of pumps. I wish I could explain the sudden primal fear that set in, with words. I wish I didn't have to even try. But some part of me, just a second too late, realized that something about the heap of sneakers, hiking boots, and sandals was malicious. I say a second too late, as though my mind had betrayed me out of sheer exhaustion, confusion, or shock. I shortly found out how foot-smelling quicksand worked, as Susie toppled over into the mound of moccasins. I leapt out to grab her, but the leviathan of loafers gobbled her up before I could get a grip. Finding her would have been like trying to find a pair of sunglasses dropped in a murky lake. Her screams died out quickly as the last movement I saw was her brand new shoes disappearing into the stack of slippers. Yes, Linda, for the last goddamn time! I tried! Oh, she just slipped out while you weren't... Oh, you know what? It's not even worth it anymore. No, not shortly after losing my precious daughter did another group of hikers come by the trail. My wife waved them over and got them to go for help, and I only looked away for a moment before the entire Frankenstein of flip-flops had closed up, the earth smoothed from trail to horizon. I spent the night working with local authorities and volunteers, combing the area for my Susie, for the behemoth of boots, for any sign of a spinning compass, a feat which none could replicate. I explained what had happened so many times I could have memorized it, and each time it sounded insane. I know it was crazy, but somehow I knew it had vanished because it wasn't hungry anymore. I've been going out again each night ever since. I know it's still out there. I don't know how to kill a giant of galoshes, or even if it's possible. I'm pretty sure shoes can burn though, and that's worth a try to me. It's been a couple of weeks now. No, Linda, I'm not letting it go. I'm not letting her go. The thing's gotta be hungry again sooner or later. And when it does, I'm diving in heel first. Hey there kids, it's me, MrCreepyPasta, and I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching tonight's video. Or watching tonight, or listening to tonight's podcast, because it's also a podcast on Spotify, or on Apple, or on Google, or anywhere else you can listen to a podcast. If you've all been curious about what I look like, and not just what I sound like, then you might be getting your chance to be able to see that. On Indiegogo right now, there is a project called Giggles Indie Horror Movie. The Giggles Indie Horror Movie is something that's spearheaded by Madame Macabre, and I'm sure you're all aware of her. It's a film that I've been asked to play one of the major leads in, and I'm super excited about it, so I hope that all of you are excited about it as well. You can check out the trailer there on the Indiegogo page, as well as a lot of the different effects and makeup that they're working on for this clown-themed horror film. And lastly, as always, I want to remind you guys, if you ever want to support the show, you can do so at patreon.com/MrCreepyPasta. And I really appreciate any time you guys can support the show, because honestly, I love you guys. You're all awesome. So, a very special thank you to Jordan Alexander Sanchez, Haha Saha, Ken Lenda Higuchi, Mazakine, Champinski, The Red Oak Shield Virus, G Weevil 3, Diana Kraus, Stephen Van Huss, Chance Burnett, Tristan Pelton, Nico Cowell, The Ginger Bros, Last Blade Song, Caleb Dougal, Sky Harbor, The Homeless Bird 93, Bobby Karen, Liam Newman, Aaron Stormcrow, Barbara Maceo, Thomas Burgett, S-Man, Kiri the Sloth, Bad Honey, Someone You Love, Said the King 56, Shadow Morningstar, Mad Marstomp, Mr. Thud, Patrick Schoolmeister, Z. Kearley, Wolfie Nums, Rafael Rodriguez, WR Axis, Prozac and Pancakes, Mike Bullock, Acid System, Lauren, Brian Ars, and Rumble Fox. And also a huge thank you to everybody who's down there in the description down below. You guys, as always, are the real MVPs, and I appreciate you more than I can possibly say. So thank you guys, thank you all for listening, and sweet dreams.